Well, after a little bit of wobbly, shaky start by our team in the Vanarama National League South, I had a little bit of a conversation with our goalkeeper, John Richardson, and after that conversation, he's played in the last 6 games and only allowed 2 goals as we've gone on a 6-game unbeaten streak, which has led us to the top of the table of the Vanarama National League South. Can we continue this good run of form? Oh, I certainly hope so. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to part number 10 of our Taskmaster F.C. / Chesham United save. When you were last with us, we took on Braintree Town in Bath City and had a very disappointing performance. Not that we didn't have opportunities to score. If I remember right, we actually outperformed both teams in the XG here. Yeah, 1.86 there, and I believe it was the same for Bath City. We ended up outplaying them, 2.39 to 1.32, and that continued through the next 6 games, but we actually executed. Again, I mentioned previously that we had a quick little conversation with John Richardson about his poor performance in goal, and as you can see, it had a significant impact on his performance as he has allowed only 2 goals in the last 6 games, leading us to a 6-game unbeaten streak, which has propelled us to the top of the Vanarama National League South. I could not be happier with this start other than the first 2 games, but other than that, we're at the top of the table. That's not to say that there aren't quite a few teams that are in contention still. It is early on in the season. I wouldn't expect us to pull away very early, but we've done a really good job to start off the season exactly as I had intended. So for today's episode, what we're going to do is we are going to take on Hampton and Richmond Borough. I'm going to play the Stowmarket Town game away, FA Cup second qualifying round. That should be an easy victory for us. And then our second game on camera will be against St. Albans City. So I am ready to make the team selection for today. Unfortunately, Roisin Connolly is on international duty. We're pretty good with our conditioning here, but Roisin Connolly on international duty, I'm going to go ahead and move Josh Whitcomb up to strike, and then we're going to take Joe Thomas and put him on the right-hand side here. So our starting lineup for our first game here against Hampton and Richmond Borough, we have John Richardson in goal, defensive backline of Godleman, Adefope, Dravid, and Gibson, Jenny Tien and Frank Skinner in the midfield, Sam Campbell, Sophie Duker, and Joe Thomas are our attacking midfielders, and Josh Whitcomb will be up top, hopefully scoring goals left, right, and center. Let's go ahead and get this team submitted, and we will go ahead and get started here. Hopefully we continue this good run of form. As I mentioned before, I've been really pleased with our just overall performance. We've really been in the same vein of form as we were during last season's really good run, and so I want that to continue today and continue on through the rest of the season, because beating, for example, Havant and Waterlooville, they were second in the league, and we played them away and absolutely dominated. We absolutely dominated in the performance. Sorry, I did not have my volume shut off, and before I can even speak of other things, it is already 1-0 Chesham United. Josh Whitcomb with the goal there, just as I planned. Joe Thomas takes the ball out of the midfield, gets it to Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner looks up and just lumps the ball forward right onto the foot of Josh Whitcomb. One touch into the back of the net, and just like that, it is 1-0 Chesham United. What a goal for Josh Whitcomb to really get on the right foot. No pun intended, the right foot. Did he use his right foot or did he use his left foot? He used his right foot. The pun works. I love it. Love being in the lead here. So, as I mentioned before, we want to continue that vein of good form that we had during last year, and we've gotten off to a really good start this season, especially after having that talk with John Richardson. It really seemed to settle him down as our number 1 keeper, and he has kept quite a few clean sheets since we last had a discussion here. Joe Thomas in the box. Gets it across in the middle, gets deflected right to Sophie Duker, who fires the ball right off of the post, and it's cleared out by Hampton and Richmond Borough, which leads to the end of the highlight. So far, done a really good job here maintaining possession and getting our opportunities, but as soon as I say that, Hampton and Richmond Borough get the ball out to the midfield. Kind of checks back there, gets it back to the defensive midfielder, but plays it around the horn, it looks like. Hoban to Revan. And it looks like they're just kind of taking their time, looking for some opportunities. Might be able to get the ball down the left-hand side here. And gets a ball into the box, but it is fired very cleanly away, and no opportunity there. Fortunately, we get a highlight immediately after that. Angela Dravid to Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner gets the ball to Joe Thomas, who beats his man. I mean, that is just what we've been doing this whole season. The same thing we've done last season, just get the ball down the flanks here, get the ball back into the midfield, and just get opportunities on goal. And just like that, Jenny Tian, second goal of the season here. And just like that, Chesham United is up 2-0 over Hampton and Richmond Borough. It's been the story of the season, been the story of the last 2 seasons. Get the ball down the wing. Sean Gibson gets the ball right in the middle to Tien, who gets a really good foot on the ball and beats it past Debajo. Anyways, regardless, it is 2-0, and we are jumping for joy so far in this game. And that is the sound of my automatic cat feeder, so enjoy that as part of our first half festivities here. Not much has happened since then, but it is currently 2-0. Looks like we'll be going into halftime with that 2-0 lead, and that is exactly what we will be doing. We have to be absolutely thrilled with that performance in the first half. I know things are going well. Maybe take it up a notch here. Get a third, get a fourth goal. Really take it to them and let them know that we mean business in the Vanarama National South so far this season. Possibly looking to make some substitutions here a little bit later. We've got some games coming up here soon that we'd like to make some rotations for. There are a few more games in this league than there were last year. I think there's 46, where there's only 42 in the previous league. So we really need to make sure we do some rotation. Luckily, with the signings that I got over the summer, I really feel like we have a good opportunity to be able to do that rotation and not sacrifice anything in the squad, which is something that we had a little bit of trouble doing last year. All right, 20 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and make a substitution here. I'm going to go ahead and substitute Duker here. Let's get Di Henwood on. Frank Skinner's on a yellow card. I don't want to see any issues there, but Kerry Godleman needs to be replaced. I shouldn't say needs to, but we'll get Danielle Walker in there and confirm some subs and hopefully wrap this game up here soon. Hampton and Richmond Borough have not even had a shot on target so far this game. It has been an utterly dominant performance by Chesham United, and I'm going to take away a lot of positives from this match, that we can win games without our leading striker. And despite the fact that Roisin Connolly has done fantastic work for us, we can win without Roisin Connolly. And I'm going to take that with me when we leave this game, because I think that opens up some opportunities for some other players to maybe take a step in. Nothing wrong with Roisin Connolly, but if there's an injury, if for some reason she ends up leaving on a transfer for one reason or another, or doesn't want to sign with us, we have strikers who can finish. Josh Whitcomb had a really good game in front of goal today. Jenny Tian from the midfield did a fantastic job. I cannot complain about that result, which again takes us right to the top of the table. So very, very pleased with that performance. As I mentioned before, we've really been doing a fantastic job, and I don't think the numbers just quite show how well we've been doing. I did show the XG for these first couple of games here, but if I continue to go back and take a look at the XG here, again, significantly higher XG in that game against Dartford. We go to the game against Chelmsford City, significantly higher, well, I shouldn't say significantly higher, but higher XG here. I go to the game at Slough Town, again, much higher XG than our opponent. I go to Chippenham Town. The same story, much higher XG. We go to Averley. Sorry, I don't want to say Avery or Averley, but it's Averley. Got it. Again, much higher XG. Wasn't too happy with our performance against the last team in this division. Luckily, a red card kind of bailed us out there in the last 20 minutes or so, last 10 minutes in order to come up with a victory there. And then a game against Havant and Waterlooville, I believe it was the same story. We just completely dominated the performance. So, again, we continue to dominate the league. I have no problems with that whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and play our Stowmarket Town game off camera. Then I'll come back and talk a little bit about our match against St. Albans City. We're bringing you back now for our game against St. Albans City. As you can see here, we had a fantastic 3-1 victory over Stowmarket Town. The only blip on the report here is a late penalty that led to our clean sheet being taken away from us. But overall, we rotated the squad. I'm quite pleased with what we ended up with here. We're in the hat for the next round, which will be against the Willand Rovers. Again, a team against Southern League Division 1 South competition. We should have no issues at all running through that and getting to the fourth qualifying round. And again, as we continue to move forward with the FA Cup, I'm hoping that we can get to some of these rounds that are proper. You know, the first actual round of the FA Cup, second round, maybe even third round if we're really, really lucky. That brings in a ton of cash, and we need cash because we are hemorrhaging money. Our projection is not looking good for this season, albeit that is better than what I saw last time. Last time I saw it was almost £500,000 in deficit at the end of the season. £300,000, not as bad. So hopefully some of these cup runs will allow us to get some cash into the bank and hopefully not give us too many troubles moving forward. But that being said, we need to get to our next game. And our next game is against St. Albans City. So we're going to start with a very, very similar lineup. We have Tim Key, unfortunately, is injured at the moment, so will not be in the starting lineup, but we'll start again, John Richardson in goal. Defensive lineup of Kerry Godleman, Angela Dravid, Lolly Adefope, and Sean Gibson. Jenny Tien and Frank Skinner are holding down our midfield. Our attacking midfield options include Sam Campbell, Sophie Duker, and Josh Whitcomb and Roisin Connolly up top. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm just so excited to have a squad full of Taskmaster contestants. It's really interesting seeing how they've come along over the course of the season, where they're going to go, and who are the legends going to be. So far, Roisin Connolly, goal-scoring legend so far. I expect nothing from a win to keep this match going because we have been in absolutely fantastic form as of late. St. Albans City, not so much. 4 losses. Ended up picking up a win in the last 5 games. Hopefully they don't pick up a second here against us today. I can't remember if we're at home or on the road. I think we're on the road today. But again, we just need to make sure we keep our good run of form today. Continue working our way up that Vanarama National South table. Looks like Dulwich Hamlet's going to be our arch nemesis kind of working through this. They actually gained promotion with us last year. I don't believe we played them, so I don't think they were in the same league. I'll have to double check that to make sure. My memory is a little fuzzy from last season. I know it's hard to believe because, well, it was only a couple days ago when I finished it, but regardless. Not a whole lot happening here in the first half. Done a good job maintaining possession, but really have not developed any opportunities so far. We're going to head into that first half with just nothing going on. This could be the most the most boring game we've ever played, but we're going to end up with a highlight. How exciting. Angela Dravid to Lolly Adefope gets the ball into the midfield to Sophie Duker, and Sophie Duker takes a turn, fires it, and a good save made by the St. Albans goalkeeper to just push that over the top of the bar. That ends up being a corner kick for Chesham United. Kerry Godleman's going to take that kick, and looks like Frank Skinner ends up getting ahead on it, ends up being cleared. And just like that, the highlight ends, and we are at halftime with absolutely nothing to show for it for both sides. Nothing really exciting going on in this game at all. Look at the stats here. We're okay. I think we can do better. I'm just going to say I'm not happy with their performance out there because I feel like this is a game that we should be winning today. This might be a very, very short episode. Who knows? Short episodes are fine, I guess, as long as we're not losing. I would like us to get a lead here, but it looks like the St. Albans are going to have the highlight here unless we can get an interception. They are simply just rotating the ball around, looking for an opening in our midfield. Kind of working the ball back and forth between their defenders and the midfield here. Finally gets the ball up, probably chases it down the line here, or maybe finds somebody in the middle. I don't know, he's kind of teared it up. That is not a good goal. That is an easy save. Get your body down and deflect that ball. And just like that, St. Albans have taken the lead over a very suspect goal being allowed by John Richardson. Again, raises the question, is this our goalkeeper for the future? That is not a good goal. That is a very easy save, provided that John Richardson is in good position and does what a goalkeeper does, which is make the simple saves. We now have a free kick for Chesham United. Looks like Jenny Tien's going to be taking this. Top right corner, top right corner, top right corner. Okay, close. Oh, do we get a rebound? No, we don't. Yes, we do. Tien tries it again. Oh, gosh. 2 good opportunities by Jenny Tien, just unfortunately cannot get the ball in the back of the net. Looks like one was saved and the other one was deflected off the post. Jenny Tien with the corner now. Cleared out. Sophie Duker tries to get the ball back in the middle, but St. Albans clears. Gets to Kerry Godleman, and that is the end of the highlight. We get another one. Jenny Tien with another one. Doesn't look like the goalkeeper was paying any attention to that at all. Finch didn't flinch. Unfortunately, it's out for a goal kick for St. Albans. Frank Skinner looks like he is injured, so I'm going to go ahead and make some substitutions here. We do not have any offensive prowess whatsoever. It looks like Roisin Connolly is not going to be... Let's get Whitcomb up top. Whitcomb's been doing pretty well as a replacement striker for Connolly over the last couple of games here. We'll get Connolly off, get Joe Thomas on, just try to get some rotation in here and see if we can get a goal. I'm going to go ahead and maybe bump this up to a positive or attacking mentality. We've been in fairly dominant form here. Just unfortunately a bad goal here. We'll go ahead and let this highlight play out, and hopefully it doesn't lead to another St. Albans goal. We get a nice little interception here, get something pretty easy, but they have worked the ball through the midfield quite easily here. So they're going to work the ball back a little bit. Tries to chuck the ball over, but Adefope gets control of it and handles it and passes it off to Dravid. Dravid cannot find anybody and works the ball back to John Richardson, who's going to try to find somebody, but gets it to Adefope, back to Dravid. Dravid finds Jenny Claire in the midfield. Then Jenny Tien will end up taking the ball. Kerry Gottleman needs to work it down the line. Ends up, can't find anybody. Works it back to Angela Dravid. Good possession here by Chesham United with 65 minutes in. Still 1-0 to St. Albans. Sam Campbell gets the ball. Kerry Gottleman, again, they're just slowly working the ball through the midfield here. Sophie Duker gets a touch on the ball. Works her way through. Fires and scores. And just like that, it is 1-1. Great work. Great patience by the Chesham United squad here. A lot of passes ended up leading to that goal. But it ends up breaking down that Dravid gets it to Eclair, and Eclair ends up finding Duker, and Duker just finds a seam, runs past everybody, and just passes the ball past Finch. And it is now 1-1, and that is the equalizer we needed. We need to take control of this match. We've been in control of the match, I should say, but we have just not been able to score. We finally get one in the back of the net, so kudos to Sophie Duker for doing that. We're going to go ahead and make some substitutions here. Sean Gibson's going to come off. I guess we're going to have to substitute Dravid. And then Danielle Walker's going to come in for Sean Gibson. I guess that's all 3 subs, so we're going to go ahead and have to take that. We'll keep the balanced mentality for now. I don't know if I really want to push just in case we end up... You know what? I need to win this game. Let's go ahead and go to a positive mentality, see if we can get a little bit more of an offensive opportunity here towards the end part of this game. I don't like dropping points, especially against teams that I feel like we should be beating here. We did come back and crawl back from 1-0 down, and a draw, I guess, is okay to take here, but we really need to be winning these games if we want to continue to be at the top of the table. We'll take a draw. Again, it's not ideal, especially with our XG. We've been very dominant with XG for this entire season. We just need to make sure that we continue to execute. We need to be winning these types of matches, and I can't stress that enough to this team in order for us to be successful and move forward in the league here, because, we have a game in hand that we can take advantage of a little bit later on, but still, every point's going to matter. And I'm not saying we're going to be at this point in the league. I'm not saying we're going to be at the very top for the entire season, but if we want to continue our good run of form, we have to be picking up points against teams that we know that we can beat. We did lose the chop spot here, but St. Albans City are 23rd. That is not a team we should be drawing against. That is a team that we should be beating. Now, that being said, we'll come back here in a little bit. Probably sometime in November. I kind of want to get a good chunk of the season taken care of. Maybe if we get past that FA Cup 3rd qualifying round, I'll show you the 4th qualifying round, maybe 1st qualifying round. I think at some point we will get into an FA Cup run here, but we'll probably bring you back at some point here in early November. So if you like that, make sure you leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're interested in watching more Taskmaster FC content. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you very soon. Toodles!